tell me when I can't hear anything. Maybe you want to block nearby, maybe not, totally up to you. But whenever you are ready to get started, go ahead and take those knees wide. Go ahead and sit back on the heels and gently, just like fingertips at a time, start to walk your torso out nice and long, being really gentle with yourself as you settle in to a child's pose. Maybe once you drop the forehead toward the mat, rolling it from side to side, getting a little bit of a forehead massage in there. Up to you if you want to keep the elbows lifted and active, maybe getting a little stretch all along the arms, or you can just relax the elbows down and really release anything that has happened today along with your body into the floor. So as we're here, also start to tune into your breath. Maybe you can feel your belly expanding into your thighs. Or even think about the back rising up as you fill in with deep inhales and let a few exhales, maybe even out the mouth. Just taking a moment here before we really start moving to check in. Where am I at? What am I bringing to the mat with me today? What sorts of things does my body have, my mind have, my heart have? And if you can't get any sort of good read on any of those things, just check in with the breath. Is it fast or slow? Deep or shallow? Really steady or kind of irregular? Especially as we start moving, the breath is going to be your easiest barometer for, how you're doing in any given moment. Especially as we're twisting a lot today, I want you always to be able to notice if the breath is gone or super shallow, and then that's your sign to back out just a little bit to make room for that big belly breath. So let's just take 3 super deep breaths here before we move. Emptying out all of your air, maybe out the mouth. Deep inhale through the nose. Feel all 4 corners of the torso expand, and then exhale it out the mouth. Maybe shake out the head. Deep inhale again. Exhale out. Inhale deep. And you can let your next inhale start to weight the tailbone as you roll on up the spine, coming into a seat here. And you can stay seated on the shins, or if this is uncomfortable for you, go ahead and transition to any sort of comfortable seat. But we're just going to take a few little neck rolls here, whichever way and whatever speed feels good for you. Thinking about dropping the shoulders down away from the ears. Making sure to switch directions. Just a little wake up for your cervical spine, your neck here. Maybe you can find one spot that feels like it needs a little extra love. Hang out there for a moment, but let this be kind of intuitive. Maybe one more breath here. And find that nice neutral neck again. A little bit of a dip to the chin so that you can kind of feel some elongation in the spine. If you are still sitting on the shins, maybe you also think about tucking your tailbone to keep that curvature of the back from like dipping out, and instead tuck it under, which will engage the core, which will really support this center that we're going to be working with. So the movement that we'll have here, make sure you've got enough room for it if you're close to anything. We're going to be inhaling up nice and long, lengthen the side body, dropping the shoulders, and exhale to twist to one side, reaching the arms all the way through the fingertips behind and in front. Inhaling back up to center, exhaling to twist in the opposite direction. And however far this rotation comes for you today, totally fine. Everything is good. Your organs are gonna get a nice little squish and squeeze. Make sure to drink lots of water after this today. Keeping that breath deep. Let's go ahead and take one more to each side. Using the full exhale to bring the arms out and down. Full inhale to come back up and then settle those shoulders down the back. Once you have evened yourself out here, you can gently, gently just drop the arms with the left hand toward the right top of thigh, and you can take the right fingertips behind you. Just stay here in a little right twist. Looking behind that right shoulder. Checking in with the chest, making sure we're not collapsed down, even in a twist sort of position. You can feel open, but really rolling that shoulder back here, something we're gonna play with a lot today. Your next inhale can gently bring you back to center. And exhale for that nice light twist over to the other side. And then we're gonna come off of the seated shins. So last little bit here. You get just a little taller in the spine. And your exhale twists you a tiny bit more before you inhale back to center and start to make your way to all fours. So if you are a lover of cat-cow, you can feel free to just take this on your own. If you are totally new to it or just want a little bit of a refresher, really start by thinking about pressing the palms down into the mat, spreading the fingertips wide, feeling the space between each finger, pressing down the same with the tops of the toes, trying to find that space between your toes, feeling really supported and strong before you inhale to drop the belly, lift the chest, lift the chin, lift the tailbone, and exhale to send everything up, curving in the opposite direction. So tucking the chin toward the belly button, tucking the tailbone, pressing away. And keep that rolling with your own breath. Just like with the arms, using the full inhale and exhale to keep the movement going. Maybe once you've gotten a few here, if you haven't already started to make this your own, you can add some circles in the hips or the neck, the ribs. Kind of having a little freedom here. Don't always have to stay so constrained. Also try rotating the fingertips back toward you if you want a little bit more opening in the forearms today. And we'll take, wherever you are, 3 more solid rotations. And start to make your way toward a neutral spine once again. We're going to take a quick little calf stretch here before we move along. So lengthen the right leg back, walk your hands forward like a handprint or two, and start to just press into the ground to deepen the stretch along your calf here. And go ahead and switch sides. Just finding a little opening in a space that doesn't really get that much during the day, the regular course of the day. All right, and then as we're back here, you can kind of keep your hands in this little bit of a more forward situation, just a little further than your, what's it called, all fours, and widen the knees just a touch. We're gonna come into a thread the needle pose, and we'll start on the left side this time. So inhaling your left arm all the way up to the ceiling, and as you exhale, thread it underneath you toward the opposite side of the mat. Bring the ear, the temple skin down. Maybe you keep this right hand planted here to really press into the mat to open up the twist. Maybe you tiptoe the fingers forward. Tip finger the fingers forward. Oh, don't listen to me. And use like a little tented fingertip here to twist. And this is not an easy place to breathe, so check on in. Last deep inhale. If you walk the hand forward, bringing it back right where it started, planting it strong and inhaling open back toward the left. Then we'll head into the other side. So planting the left hand, inhaling open with the right, maybe looking up with the fingertips as they go and following them through as you thread. Maybe you stay right here. Maybe you walk those fingertips forward and create a little more space. This is a pose that can really feel very tightly wrapped. So I want you to think about using the core, the rib cage, to peel yourself open up toward the sky, the ceiling. Pressing down with that right hand. Pressing into the right knee to even out the hips. And breathing. One more big breath. Bring that front hand back if you took it out. And we'll come open again into a nice inhale. And set it on back down. We're going to gently walk ourselves out onto our bellies on the mat. And once we get there, taking the right arm out nice and long. Palm is flat and the arm is right even with your shoulder. Left hand is planted next to the rib cage. And from here, we are just going to peel the body open, getting a lovely chest and shoulder stretch. You can step your left foot down to the floor, or if you want even more here, you can let it reach out long. Maybe see how different it feels for you to either lift the head, keep it lifted, or drop the temple down to the mat and relax a little. And see if each of your exhales can just allow the weight of this left side of your body to really open up down towards the ground. You're breathing in to your shoulder, your chest on the right side. And then this is our last breath here. Gently coming back to center. Taking your time as you shift yourself to the other side. The left arm reaches out long, palm flat on the ground and in line with your shoulder. And as you're ready, go ahead and start that peel on open. Maybe the head lifts, maybe it drops down. Maybe you lengthen through the right leg. See if you can use your exhale to let something go. Maybe it's just your jaw or the space between your eyebrows, your fingers, toes, anything that's gripping, it doesn't need to be. You can imagine that right side of the body getting nice and heavy. And then last breath. Enjoy it. Slowly take your time as you come back to center here. I'll start to bring both hands planted next to the ribs and move into just a little baby cobra series. So whenever you're ready, on your inhale, the hands will press down as the chest lifts, keeping the chin in line for the first 2 or so, and exhale will bring you back down to the mat. Doing that with the breath for maybe 5 or 6 breaths. And start to grow a little as we move along. If you want, you can begin to lift the chin, adding in the very top of your spine to the movement. Above all, you really want to feel the length of your torso on this. It's not like you're kind of scrunching backward, but like you're lengthening forward. Go ahead and take your last roll. And from here, we're going to tuck the toes underneath as we sit our hips back to find a puppy pose. So it's more like chest dropping and hips reaching back than child's pose, which is the hips seated toward the heels here. This is nice and active. Big stretch in the front, the whole front of the body, under the armpits, all that good stuff here. Just one more breath. Beautiful. And then walk those hands back, just one little handprint. Tuck the toes all the way under and press yourself up into a nice downward facing dog, or you can start to pedal out the feet. Maybe even here you can shake out the head. Find a little stillness with the feet and start to bring that pedal kind of into the hands as you walk yourself back toward the back of the mat. Here we will come into a nice gentle forward fold. You can add a generous bend to the knees, maybe grab onto opposite elbows and find a sway from side to side. Get a little opening in the hamstrings here. And then as you drop the weight of your arms down toward the mat, think about that tuck of the tailbone once again, and allow that to kind of work with a cat spine as you roll yourself up to stand. Nice and slow. Chin stays tucked until the very top. We'll roll the shoulders back, interlace the fingertips behind the tailbone, lifting up and away from the body as we dive back down with the torso. Letting those shoulders open as the arms tip over. Your gaze is back behind you. One more breath with the bind here. And then go ahead and exhale to bring those hands back down to the mat. From here, we're going to take that same sort of walking situation with the legs, bending one knee and then the other. You can really let the hips swing from side to side too. And once you've got a few of those in, go ahead and keep the left leg bent, right leg straight. Plant your left hand centered on the mat in front of you, and inhale to open up with the right arm. Maybe you can circle the wrist out up there. Maybe see what it feels like to lean forward and back just a touch, how that changes the stretch for you. And then your next exhale can just gently float that arm back down to the mat as you head back into that walking pattern. Almost like you're shaking out the hips in slow motion. And then we'll set up on the other side with the right leg bent, left leg nice and straight. You don't have to all the way lock out through the knee, but enough to feel a lovely little outer IT band stretch on this as you plant the right hand in the center and inhale, open toward the sky with the left arm. And this can be fingertips, this can be nice and light. You can be all the way down there if that is what serves you today. Maybe rolling out the left wrist. And on your next exhale, go ahead and bring it back down. We'll take one big inhale here just to lift the spine. And an exhale to fold. Gently, again, start that roll up, tucking the tail and coming all the way up to stand. And we are going to step to a wide forward fold in the center of the mat. So just like before, you'll interlace the fingers behind you, this time putting the opposite thumb on top, the one that feels a little weird, with your wide forward fold here. And whenever you are ready, lean into the outside edge of your feet as your torso dips forward, hips hinge back, and you allow the arms to drop as you open the chest. Maybe there's room for a little sway here before you let go. And then gently, without letting them ricochet down to the ground, let go of the bind and bring the hands toward the mat. From here, we're just going to add a lovely little bend in the right leg and then the left leg. If this is feeling good and you want to make it a little more fluid, you can bring the hands to the opposite elbows and kind of allow your torso to move with the knees as it bends. So kind of acting like you're just twisted, you wrung out the spine, and now you are shaking out all of the stuff that you got loose here. And it might feel nice to go a little faster, or just keep it slow. Keep breathing. Totally okay if you kind of feel the blood rushing to your head here. That is also the point. And then the next time your right leg is bent, you're going to crawl the fingertips out towards your left foot so that you feel a really long stretch in the right side of the body. Dropping the head so you're looking down toward the mat and leaning deep into that right side lunge here. Both of the toes are still facing forward, facing the same side of the mat. So you get maybe also an inner thigh stretch on the left side. And one more big breath here. Go ahead and come back to center. Take a little breath here before you move. And then bend that left leg as you walk the fingertips over toward the right foot. And with any pose like this, that's like not particularly a real pose, feel free to play. This is gonna feel different for everybody. The amount with which you bend your leg, how wide your feet are, where your hands are at, how much weight you've got forward versus back toward the toes or the heels. You always have room to play. So take that last inhale. As we come back into center here, we're going to turn the heels in, the toes out, and sit yourself down into a little squat. Once you're there, hands will come to the inside of the thighs, and we'll just start to dip the shoulders. Taking your time, maybe taking a full breath per side, inhale and exhale. Before you switch. Maybe feel a little heat turn on in the glutes and the thighs. That's totally okay. Getting into some lunges soon, so you'll be happy to have that warmth to be able to open up. And then making sure you are even on both sides, go ahead and finish out. From here, we will plant the hands down to the ground, tuck the left foot right underneath us as we reach the right leg out long. And so that is, this foot is like zipped up right up against the inseam of your leg. We'll plant the right hand, inhale, open to reach up and over toward the toes. And the twist here comes from this bottom arm, really pressing in to your leg to open up and find lots and lots of space here. Last inhale. And you can kind of just follow this hand over, allowing your torso to melt so that it is right over top of your right leg. A lot more of a squared stretch here. If you want, you can add a nice steep bend into this hamstring, and that'll actually get it like deeper into the muscle if you're not fully locked out. Maybe your next exhale walks the fingertips just a little further forward. And then grounding from the tailbone, start your journey to roll back up. From here, I'll step the right leg over top, finding a spinal twist. So as much as possible, try and get all 5 of these front toes onto the ground, while both of your hips are also situated on the ground. Once you feel like you're there, take a nice big inhale up and exhale to twist toward the right. Catching your elbow once again, using that loving opposition to open up. Maybe glancing back over your right shoulder. Nice deep twist here. One more breath to lengthen. One more exhale to twist. And then gently unwind into a little counter twist here. Dipping the torso. And then as you come up, we're just gonna slide the knees so that they stack as best as possible. This is a lot of fun in the hips. So maybe for you it looks like the shins coming out toward the front of the mat. Maybe for you it looks like tucking the shins in right alongside you, but play with that for a little bit. And ideally you're able to keep both of your hip bones grounded here. If you feel like you're just like collapsing down, like your legs are trying to eat your body, take your fingertips into tents right behind the hips and lift the spine long. That should allow the knees to kind of tip forward a little bit. You can just hang out here, maybe take a little break and lift. Or if you're feeling pretty good, go ahead and walk your torso forward to deepen the stretch into the hips. Okay, tucking the tailbone to roll up. Yay, pretzels. And we'll do the same thing starting on the other side. So this time the right foot tucks into the left inseam, nice and long with that left leg. Plant that elbow, really use it to open up and reach over toward your left toes. Sending your breath toward the right ribs. Feeling the length from the fingertips to the hip. Last inhale here. And the exhale kind of allows you to melt over top of the left leg. Keeping the torso nice and heavy. Maybe you add that extra bend, see how it feels. Maybe your exhales take you just a touch further, dropping the head so that the nose points down toward the knee. And nice and easy, tuck the tailbone to go ahead and roll yourself back up. Setting up for the spinal twist now with the left leg on top. Once again, try and get those toes and hips planted. Inhale tall. Exhale to twist. Always keep this arm straight. Bend. You can even use it to hug the leg. Whatever feels nice for you. One more deep inhale. Exhale to twist a little further. And inhale to slowly unwind into your counter twist. As you come up, once again, we're going to stack those knees. This side is totally different from your other side, so really take your time as you set yourself up. And then we'll take 2 or 3 breaths, either with those fingertips lifted or walked forward, with the torso relaxed toward the thighs. Sometimes this for me feels exactly like figure 4 pose, and sometimes it's like a totally different thing, which is what it is today. I don't even know what's going on, but one little trick I have, especially when you're doing anything that might feel strange on the knees, is keeping the feet nice and bright. So I've got energy in them, they're engaged, they're pressing down into the mat, and I feel like that helps just keep the legs aware and not doesn't let them slip into something that might not be ideal for them. Heavy tailbone to start to roll yourself back up. And our fancy little transition from here is heading this way into a low lunge. So you're leaning onto the right hip, keeping this left foot planted, taking the back leg long, and dropping the knee. Fun, right? So however you would like to get into a left lunge, if that didn't quite work out, all good. You can keep the back toe tucked or go ahead and untuck as you inhale the arms up. And just like in the very beginning, we're exhaling to twist toward the left, taking the left arm behind and the right arm in front. This is level 1. If you want a little more, which is a back bend, you'll take the left hand toward your left thigh and lean back as you reach up and back with the top arm. So it's got this little crescent-y situation. You're still bending down into that front leg, opening up in the right hip, breathing. And then your next exhale gently cartwheels everything back down as you shift the hips back and take a little baby hamstring stretch here just for a breath. Beautiful. We'll go ahead and come forward once again. This time, if you want a little more spice, you can lift the back leg as you go for the same thing. Inhaling up, exhaling to twist, and then maybe sneaking that left hand back to find a little back bend. If you fall, great. If you're here and it's terrible, you can always bring that back knee down. Amazing. We've got last breath. And cartwheel it back down. You're gorgeous, you're amazing, you're perfect. Okay, stepping in the back leg. About 2 feet, we're gonna start to set up for our pyramid pose. So both legs relatively straight. You can always have your little micro bends. And the torso is right, straightforward, in line. No twisting. We'll inhale to lift and exhale just to relax here for a moment. going to plant the hands. Step your left foot back into a quick downward facing dog. Inhale here, nice and deep, and then go ahead and exhale out the mouth, maybe with a sigh. From here, we'll step the right leg forward, finding a lunge on the opposite side. Maybe you keep the back toes tucked, maybe you untuck as you inhale to reach up overhead, and exhale to find a twist toward the right. From here, maybe you stay, totally welcome to stay, or sneak the right hand down the left thigh, and head for the back bend. Breathing here, sinking still into that front leg, getting all the lovely benefits. As much as possible, pulling in with the lower ribs, not letting them splay out. And then go ahead and gently cartwheel it down. We'll find that little hamstring stretch as we shift back. Keeping the torso in alignment. And then shift it forward. From here, you can come on up, lifting the back leg, or you can definitely keep the knee on the ground as well. We'll inhale up. Exhale to twist. And then taking your time, maybe you find that option once again. Using this back thigh hand to roll open the chest, dropping that back shoulder. Last breath in. Cartwheel it down. Step your shaky back leg in. Kind of shaky. Inhale to lengthen the spine. Exhale to fold. And we are just about to the end. So take a deep breath or two here. When you are ready, we're going to step the left foot to meet the right at the top of the mat. And from here, toe heel the feet out to the edges of the mat and send your hips right down toward the ground to find a little squat. So you can see. You can stay here for sure, or if you are having the best time of your life continuing to twist, you can take the left hand to the ground. Inhale the right arm open, and then back to center on the exhale. Inhale in the opposite direction. Exhale back to center. We'll take one more time through. Inhale to open. Exhale to center. Inhale to open. Exhale to center. And then you can gently make your way to your back, or you can just flop. Have a little fun with it, if that is something that feels appealing to you. If not, I totally get it. Don't even worry about it. But we are coming down onto our back to end out here with a few lovely little restorative twists. So, you can move your body toward the left side of your mat as you set up for a right twist. Knees will stack, and as you tip them over toward the right, try and keep them in line here. Maybe you use your right hand to rest on top of the left knee. You can bring the right arm to a cactus if you want a little bit more chest opening here, or you can reach it long. And up to you if you'd like to look toward the left. Start to allow the breathing to slow. Maybe close down the eyes. See if your next exhale can let something go. taking your time, maybe even using your hand to lift the legs, bring everything back into center. Bring the knees into the chest and just take a little rock from side to side. Feel the warmth of your body, strength of your body. And then go ahead and shift yourself toward the right side of your mat so that we can set up a twist toward the left. Dropping the knees over, keeping them stacked, maybe weighting them with that left hand. I need to take a cactus because I'm out of room on this side, but you can reach the right arm long. And up to you if you'd like to turn the head to face the right. Sometimes it's really nice to notice all of the spaces in which the ground is supporting you here. You feel that the more you allow yourself to collapse, to give way, the more supported and stable you'll feel. I don't want to get too deep with that, but it's just a good little reminder of what it's like to live integrated with everything around us. We are just one of millions of species here on the planet, and the more we lean into each other, the more supported we'll all be. Gently move your way back to center. Bringing the knees into the chest for one big hug. And then you can take the body long for a moment. Maybe reaching the arms above the head as you point the toes and take a nice long stretch from top to bottom. From here, we will roll ourselves over onto one side and come on up into a comfy seat. And we'll all close up together with 3 deep breaths once you're here. You can close the eyes again and let go of all of your air. Inhale deep through the nose. Exhale out the mouth, maybe with some sound. Ha! Deep inhale. Exhale out. I'm going to do a lip trill this time. Deep inhale. And let something go. Ha! Let your normal breath come back to you. Keep the eyes closed just one moment longer so you can sit in what this feels like. To set aside dedicated time just for your body and your brain and your soul on a mat. To move and maybe sweat a little and maybe get a little uncomfy, but in the best way. So thank you for showing up for that for me, because I have fun doing it, and also for yourself. So lots of gratitude, and gently begin to open the eyes and head on out into that world. I'm in a weird mood today, y'all. But I'm also super sweaty, so I might be dehydrated. Anyway, drink lots of water. Science ? But twisting supposedly releases a lot of toxins into your body, so that. Thank you for hanging out